Greetings to everybody hearing and watching this presentation. This is Sina Firuzbakht from University of Tehran. I'm assisted and supervised by Dr. Mohammad Khansari. This presentation topic is about investigation of topological characteristic of the Iranian railway network, a network science approach. Research in complex network is based on graph theory and complex network theory. Researchers and scientists have examined many specific networks such as small networks and scale-free networks and use them as base for examining to other complex real networks such as rail and transportation networks. By understanding the network structure and its topological characteristic, we will be able to examine the networks from various aspects such as vulnerability and cost effectiveness. In this article, by identifying the structure of the network and examining its characteristic, we find the roads and stations whose failure has the greatest impacts on the network. To achieve that, rail network must be created in such a way that passengers can reach their destination with the least train movement and maximum speed. By examining the structure of the network and finding measures such as its average distance and the proportion of average network distance to the logarithm of the network size, we can find out whether the rail network under study has a small world phenomenon or not. If this phenomenon is observed in the railway network, it means that the development of the network has been in the economic direction over the years, and if it is not observed, it means that the development of the railway network has not been in the economic direction. Representation of railway network. There are two ways to represent rail networks as complex networks: L-space representation and P-space representation. The P-space representation can show the transfer characteristic of network, and L-space representation takes the train station as the network node and the direct path between two stations as the edge, like this image. Research data. We have obtained the dataset from the map of Iran's railway network, which was prepared by GPS data, with the maximum distance of 40 meters from the railway network of Iran, and has been prepared by the GIS group of the railways of the Islamic Republic of Iran. And we created the dataset, the edge-list dataset from this map. Topological characteristic of railway network. Degree and length, average degree, between centrality, average path length, clustering coefficient, network diameter, a small world phenomenon. An important average degree, for example, an important property of a network is average degree, which for an undirected network, in this case we use the average degree for undirected network. In the studied railway network, the degree of each node indicate the number of stations that are directly connected to the station, and the average of degree represents the average of the total degree of each node. Betweenness centrality. Betweenness centrality captures the extent to which a node controls the shortest path of all nodes pair. This measure is widely used in transportation networks to reflect transitivity. The average path length, denoted by D, is the average of the shortest path between all pairs of nodes in the network. The BFS algorithm can also be used to determine the average path length for the large network. In the railway network under study, the average length of the possible means represents the average number of rows between the desired station. Network diameter. The diameter of the network, denoted by dmax, is the maximum shortest path in the network. In other words, this is the largest recorded distance between each pair of nodes. For larger networks, the diameter can be determined using the BFS algorithm too. In our railway network, according to this definition, the network diameter is the maximum distance between two train stations. A small world phenomenon. In the language of the network science, the small world phenomenon implies that the distance between two randomly chosen in a network is short. Experimental results. Graph of Iranian railway network. In this graph, the size of the nodes is an indicator of their degree, and nodes with similar colors have the same degree. Which we create this graph by an open source software, ICCKE. So mass station, number of active drop stations in the country has degree of 2. And very few of the stations have degree higher than 2. Only Tehran Central Station has degree of 7, and Tabriz and Bab Station have the degree of 5. Table 1 show that 5 train stations with the maximum node betweenness centrality, and Table 2 show that 5 railway paths with maximum node betweenness centrality. As shown in figures 3 and 4, the distribution diagram of nodes and age, the centrality also follows the power law family. Conclusion. This study considered the Iranian railway network as a complex network and examined its using the characteristics of the network from both economic and vulnerability aspects. Economically, the results show that due to the lack of a small world phenomenon, the development of Iran's railway network structure has not moved toward economic and faster. Also, by finding vulnerable stations and network routes and their distribution with the help of network characteristics like between centrality, we found that the most vulnerable railway train stations are the same hub stations that can damage the country's rail network to the great extent if damaged. Iran Railways network can be considered as hierarchical network in terms of hierarchically because it has a very unbalanced degree if station and has hub station. There are also numerous bridge roads in the network. If there is a problem with any of these roads, the train station will be disconnected from the whole network, which make this hierarchical network are very vulnerable. Thank you.